Yo, what's good? It's Dubious Thoughts. I'm repping out of Sac, a local hip hop artist, and I'm here to inspire and change lives, man. I'm trying to change the game. So let's get into it.
All right, guys, we're keeping things rolling. You're listening to Grown Men Sessions, where we aim to change the way men talk to and about each other by letting them tell their stories and giving them a space to be themselves. And if you believe in this idea and in this movement, please hit the like and the subscribe and consider becoming a patron. This is a community-based and community-funded operation, so I want to thank all you guys and all you ladies out there for supporting us and helping us with this work. And without further ado, let's get this episode going. Dubious Thoughts, bro. Thank you for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Currently going through it right now. Got some family issues I'm dealing with right now. Got a pending death in the family, but
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear about that, bro.
yeah, it's a reminder that life is fragile, right? Life can be volatile, and just it gets you thinking about life and about how you live your life and what you're doing with your life, and who you're spending time with and all that. So, it makes you cherish moments that you have, like with your family and your friends and everything. So,
Yeah.
it's a reminder of all that. It brings family together, and reminds us that we need to spend more time together, right?
I just want to get to know you a little bit more, bro. I know you said you're from Sacramento, California. Is that where you grew up, or did you come from
From
somewhere
the
else?
Bay. I
From the
represent the Bay.
Bay.
Yeah, I've been up in Sac for, man, almost 12 years now. So I've spent almost, well, yeah, damn near half my life up here in Sac. So it's my home now, and it's definitely my where I stay. And honestly, I've recruited more people from the Bay up to Sacramento for a decade now. So yeah, this is where my people are and everything. But yeah, I'm from the East Bay. I grew up right on the edge of Hayward and Castro Valley.
Oh, nice.
So grew up kind of in the stack, and then my mom lived in Castro Valley, so I was bouncing back and forth. So I got a little Bay in me, and I got the Sac in me. So I got definitely West Coast all the way, though.
Oh, for sure, man. Got it all going on, man. Nice mixture.
Yeah.
And you know, what was it like making that transition? Was it a smooth transition or was it kind of challenging and depending on like the time of your life that you moved?
Yeah, well, truth be told, I moved up here with my wife at the time. Didn't know a soul other than her. Had to make friends. Had to uproot. Had to, create a whole new friends group. Had to find those common interests and relocate for my business and everything that I was running. So I had to create new networking opportunities and whatnot. And the thing that it taught me is to get out of my comfort zone. I had never done any networking type of business at the time. It was very personal, one-on-one and everything. And so by nature, I'm really an introvert. I don't like going out and just shaking hands and kissing babies. Interestingly enough, because now I'm kind of the opposite. Now I like to be the life of the party. I like to engage, and I like to meet new people every day. So it actually created, or I should say, it pulled out in me some of my God-given talents and abilities, which is to be a fairly good communicator. So it stretched me, which is, I think, a good thing.
Well, yeah, dude. If you're an MC, man, you kind of comes with the territory. You know what I mean? Like
Right?
you develop those skills to be able to reach people and kind of just interact. I mean, it's part of the hustle, in my opinion. Um,
Marketing, keyword is marketing, right? There are some extremely talented MCs out there that are just unheard of because they
yeah,
can't get themselves out there, right? But
yeah,
yeah, there's
yeah.
some just garbage rappers that rap about nothing, and they say the same thing over and over again, and you find yourself humming it after a while because it's on the
It's
radio 10 times a
everywhere.
day,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, what the hell am I even talking about? Like, this is garbage. I can't say this around my son or around my girl or anything like that. Like, I can, but you just, because they put themselves out there, right? And that's the difference. So
yeah.
it taught me as an entrepreneur and as an MC to put those two things together. And that's what I'm continuing to evolve in my craft is, I can be totally transparent and put myself out there on paper, but then it's like being vulnerable enough to put it out there, not just put it on vinyl or, put it on wax, so to speak, but to actually get out there and say, I boldly proclaim my vulnerability. Here you go. Listen to my life story, which is what I did on the album. And what, I got an EP ready to go, and then I'm working on the second full length album already, and it's gonna get deep, it's gonna get heavy, and it starts with the marketing now and building that out there. So
Well, I'm gonna tell you something that I got to meet Brother Ali back in
oh wow,
2012, right?
legend.
And right, yeah, dude, it was an amazing opportunity, and I got to ask him a question. It was at a hip hop award show out here in North Hollywood,
Okay.
and I asked him. I said, what advice would you give to any young artists out there? And I will never forget this, bro. He said pretty much what you're saying right now. He said, you have to make music that makes you so uncomfortable that you're scared to release it, or that even the thought of it releasing it makes you like really uncomfortable. Because he said that means that you're releasing something that's so personal to you that is just you. You know what I mean? It's just you.
Yeah.
And he said that that's the only way to make it in this music industry nowadays. It's because, like you said, you have artists that can make these one hit wonders and can like sound like another
Hmm.
person and get out there. But that doesn't
Yeah.
mean longevity all the time. Like you look at
Right.
some of these
One hit
artists
wonder.
that put themselves out there and kind of like make themselves vulnerable. Like you said, man, like they're the ones that last for a really long time.
Man, that's wise words right there, Timothy, man. I think about NF. I think about Tom McDonald. Those guys talk about very personal and controversial things, right? But yet they're underground sensations, and I love to model, that type of model. And frankly, that's who I aspire to be like. Talk about inspirations we were talking about on our previous call. Living Legends, Hyro, Grouch and Eli. Right, I've had the opportunity to meet all of them, and Zion I've hung out with him. God rest his soul. Del the Funky Homo Sapien had a chance to be at a couple of his tours with my friend that put it on. Anyway, all those guys have said something very similar. It's speak your truth, put it out there, be bold, proclaim it, and yeah, be vulnerable. I think is the key. And that's something that I really love about this show is that you're bringing on people that are able to be vulnerable, and I think in vulnerability we're able to connect. And I think at the end of the day, humans, we're all meant to connect. We have to
Right.
have community. If we don't have community, we're in isolation, and we do no good for anybody or for our cause.
Yeah, I think a lot of the motivation behind this platform was, to kind of just change the way that, we talk to each other and about each other as men. But the more and more I started to, the show started to develop and it kind of started to take on its own little life, I started realizing, man, that it was more geared towards like, like a more urban, more kind of like underserved community, kind of showing that side of the fence that like that that kind of stuff is okay, man. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to you about that, man, about vulnerability and like why it is that like as us men like we feel like that's like such a hard thing to
Mm-hmm.
to let ourselves be in that moment. I mean, I know for myself, like it was my environment and it was kind of like the way that I saw the way like the men that kind of raised me
Mm-hmm.
were showing me like how it was supposed to be. But why, like I just don't understand like why we
Yeah.
keep perpetuating that.
Yeah, it's a social construct, right? That men don't show emotion, right?
But
There's
it's so
definitely
unhealthy though.
right. That's just it. There's this kind of facade that's out there that men are purely just masculine, muscular, and we need to be protectors, which are all good attributes, and we should, right? That's an element of it, but that's not the whole pie. Those are just slices of it. I think a complete man is someone that can be honest with their feelings, especially with their mate, their partner, their wife. Um, say it how it is, and yet be and men to men, we need to be honest and transparent with one another,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not healthy to bottle these things up. That
For
creates
sure.
anxiety, that creates depression. It shows its face in addictions of all kinds,
Mm-hmm.
alcoholism, drug addiction, and then leads to overdoses and violence and all these other things. And a lot of it is just rooted in not being vulnerable, not speaking what's going on in your life. And I think most of us can admit we don't have a therapist, right? We don't pay for counseling. So who else is going to be there, right, for you? So You got to have your boys. You got to have platforms like this. You got to have podcasts. I listen to various podcasts that I be happy to share with anybody that encourage me, to uplift me, and you can relate to. There's so much content out there too that you can delve into that can relate to you, and then walk you through that, and then sharing that with other people, I think, is the key.
Now that you bring it up, man, I would love to ask you, like, what is a one of those challenging times that you could share with us, that you feel comfortable sharing with us, that kind of gave you a little bit of a life lesson, man. And
yeah, got a lot. I mean, my brother was definitely a life lesson, but I feel like I was already pretty solidified in my faith and in my family at that time, right, to be able to get me through it. But yeah, losing my dad when I was 15 was definitely the most challenging time of my life.
oh wow,
Our house burned down. He fell asleep with a cigarette, drunk on the couch, and
oh wow,
I was supposed to be there. My dog got hit by a car the night before, and he was in bad shape. My dad drank himself belligerent, couldn't take him to the hospital, was going to take him out back and shoot him. So I skateboarded from my mom's house from the top of Castro Valley all the way down to my dad's house in Hayward, and called my mom after seeing how bad shape Barron was, and she picked him up. And so we were at the hospital all night. And yeah, that night I get a call from the fire department and from my sister, and said, "You need to get down to the house, and it's bad." And I was 15, and I was really close with my dad at the time, closer than my mom, frankly. Didn't love living with my mom, and so that took everything out of me, right? There was a lot of cursing God. It was, I didn't have any relationship with God or any sort of faith. Never been to church in my life, but it was just like cursing the sky, right? Like, why? There's no reason for this, and who am I going to lean into? And so it forced me to become a man at an early age. My mom, dealing with her boyfriend and the stuff that she was doing, was not focused on me as a sophomore in high school. Let's put it that way. I'll say that I went off the deep end for quite a while. I had actually, my dad never knew this, but I was arrested about a month before he died. Caught with some friends breaking and entering and smoking weed and everything, and paraphernalia. And so I had gone through. I was in jail, and then went to counseling with my mom. I was forced to get the felony off my record, and then I was grounded like the entire summer because I threw a party when my mom staged it. Get that. She knew how bad of a kid I was. She told me for a month that she was going out of town just to see if I'd throw a party. And sure enough, I did.
Oh wow.
Started siphoning her alcohol for months, and telling my friends, and stealing her weed and everything else. I mean, talk about being vulnerable. Here you go, Mom. She's watching. But I was off the deep end, right? And then that just threw me over even further. But the thing that changed me, honestly, was when my mom picked me up the next day, hungover as shit. I got my nephews high. They were 12 years old and stuff. I mean, it was bad. And she picked me up, and instead of, I'll preface with this: she knew me very well. Okay, she knew probably how this would motivate me or not, whatever. Instead of her saying, "Oh, it's okay, son, you'll be all right," like bad decisions, whatever. No, she was like, "You know what? I don't give a do whatever you want with your life. You can suffer your own consequences. Your decisions will lead to your own consequences, and you can deal with it. I don't care what you do with your life. You're going to be a screw up if you continue down this road." And so here I have my mom not believing in me. My dad just passed away a few months prior. It was my 16th birthday, and I got kicked off the football team. Baseball was about to start. I wouldn't have been able to start because of my grades. And so talk about hitting rock bottom. And it took my dad passing away, my mom to give up on me, and having no friends and family that, really understood where I was coming from, to say, you know what? Instead of using this as a crutch and to say, this is why I won't succeed, I will use this for the reason why I will succeed. Watch me. I'll prove you wrong. And that's what it took. And ever since then, I've had this mighty mouse mentality, and I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And if you doubt me, watch me exceed your expectations and watch me flourish. And so that's honestly kind of the theme of Dubious Thoughts has been, everybody doubts and everybody questions, and and watch me, I will succeed. And so no matter what you go through in life, right? Don't use it as a crutch. Use it as your reason why your story is going to be that much more amazing.
Yep. Man, I like that, bro. It's a powerful, transformation. I know, I went through my own personal transformation, so I know it doesn't happen overnight. I know
Yeah.
it's a process, man. But let me ask you this: somebody asked me this question, and it kind of caught me off guard, but it was a good question to ask. And they asked me because I had the same mentality. I was like, you know what? People think I can't do this, that, and the other. Watch me, like you just said, right? And the person asked me, said, Tim, were you trying to prove other people wrong? And I said,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, but now, are you trying to prove other people wrong now? Or are you right now, are you trying to prove something to yourself?
Yeah.
And I
Oof.
was like, like I kind of had to think about it. And I was like, you know what? That's a good point. I said, that's a good point. I said, because now where I'm at in my life, I feel like I'm really just trying to, prove to myself that, I am kind of different from what I used to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've made a lot of mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I've come from like, a lot of situations where I shouldn't have come out of. So let me ask you, man, like, how do you feel
Mm-hmm.
about that? Like, like I know like
Mm-hmm.
before you said like you were trying to prove all these people wrong, but like, how do you feel about it now? Do you still feel like you're in that same vein, or do you kind of feel a little bit different about, your motivation behind it?
The way that I feel, that's a great question. The way that I've always looked at myself is if I set my mind to something, I can do it, right? And that means burning desire. Something out of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill that I highly recommend everybody reads.
Oh yeah,
I've read it countless times, studied it, listened to audiobook almost daily.
great
But
book.
you must have a burning desire to accomplish anything that you want in life. And that means burning all ships, literally and figuratively. If it means for you quitting your minimum wage job or whatever and living on your brother's couch for 3 months while you get your hustle going or you start your business or whatever, maybe that's what it takes for you, right? And so if you set your mind to something, you can do anything. And so I've proven that to myself many times, but I've also failed other times too. And so it creates enough curiosity in myself where I'm like, can I do this? All right, let's go all in and let's see if I can do it. So there is this level of like doubt on one's shoulder, right? It's like, well, you failed before, you're gonna fail this time. I got this other guy like, no, dude, you're gonna crush it. You're gonna succeed and you're gonna exceed. And so you've got this like angel and the demon on you. And so I think that that creates a healthy balance of it's not a given. And so it doesn't create complacency and like, oh, I got this. Don't worry. Like, I know I can do it. And then you procrastinate or, you don't go all in. You got a little bit of fear. And I think a good, like healthy amount of fear is always good because it creates that a little bit of anxiety or a little bit of
That motivation.
like adrenaline in you. Yeah, that
Hmm.
motivation where you're like, I gotta
That
do this,
hunger.
man. Ugh, yeah. And so that
Hmm.
for me was pursuing hip hop.
I like that, man. Maybe you already touched on it, maybe you didn't, but I ask all of my guests this. What do you think is the most important lesson you've learned along your journey to this point?
Hmm. The quote that reigns in my head right now, based on what we're talking about, is circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him by
Hmm.
James Allen.
I like that.
Um, circumstances don't make or circumstances yeah, don't make the man, they reveal him. So when those challenges come, when, not if, when they
When.
come, the unfathomable, right? My brother passing away, unfathomable. Just talked to him the day before and every day after my son was born, especially, of course. Hits a gravel, hits a rock, and leaves this earth, right?
Wow.
So what do you do with that, right? Who are you in that moment? Who will you become? And, for me and where my family was and his two kids, Uncle Ben's got to step up. and it's got to be there. You know, I'm going to deal with my own things and my own emotion, but I got to be there for them, you know, or am I just going to say, F the world, F life, and I'm going to go smoke and drink and, you know, myself into a hole and not be there for anybody else. So that was a case in point of me saying, who am I going to be in this moment? You know, and my beginning of the second track on my album, that's how it starts, right? Especially now in January, where we're at right now is a new year, right? It's a clean slate. So who are you going to be in this moment, right? And
Yep.
the intro to that song, you know, is essentially Van Gogh. In fact, this book right here is where that song first came from. The intro of the song came from is Van Gogh, right? Are you a painter, right? You got a clean canvas, right? We all have our talents and abilities, which are those different paint, you know, those brushes, right? Let's use our talents and abilities. And right now we got a clean slate. Every day is a clean slate. Write your story, right? Who are you going to be? So I don't know. Leave them with that. Circumstances don't make them, man. They reveal them.
I understand what you mean about, when those unfortunate circumstances come. But I also think that you can kind of create those circumstances for yourself every day, man. I feel like you can
Mm-hmm.
wake up and you can make that decision every day if it's within your mindset. And we
Yeah.
talk about that a lot on this show about like, just building that kind of mindset to where you're doing something productive, or you're building, you're going after some sort of goal, or you're holding yourself accountable to some sort of standard. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
you can do that like whenever you want. It can
Yep.
be in the new year. It could be March 28th at 3 p.m. Like, it doesn't
That's what I'm
matter. You know
saying.
what I mean?
Every day. That's what I'm saying. Every day, man. And it's, to your point, it's not about being reactive, it's about being proactive.
Right.
Right? Every day your mindset's got to be clean and it's got to
Exactly.
be, you know, focused, right? So feed your mind with positivity, right? Garbage in, garbage out. So
Yep.
positive in, positive out, right? You know, are we wasting our time with just mindless crap every day? You flipping on the news every day and it's just negativity all day, or are you listening to podcasts like Grown Man Sessions, right? Are you listening to Lewis House, the School of Greatness, right? We talked about that previously. You know, there's phenomenal people out there that all they do all day long is inject positivity and information out there, and you can utilize it, or not, but we have that ability to utilize that and use it for good. And I think at the end of the day, focusing on encouraging one another and being the best version of ourselves, is what we ought to focus on. The last thing that I wanted to say, I just had this on my mind that popped in there, is, as it relates to death and unfortunately, people that we lose in our lives. But it's like, what do you want said about you at your funeral? I know it's morbid to think about, but it was a reminder in the last couple days, right? It's like,
Yeah.
what, because I'm thinking about how I'm going to remember my uncle. What was he remembered for? And you don't remember any of the crap. You remember how they impacted you and how they made you smile and what feelings that they gave you, right?
Right.
So the thing that motivates me the most is, how do I want to impact people? Um, will people bawl, or will people go, oh yeah, I kind of knew that guy. Yeah, he had a lot of potential.
Yeah.
No, sir. No, I don't want to be remembered as he had a lot of potential and I kind of knew him. I want to be remembered as someone that, like, that guy truly cared and he truly used every bit of his little bit of God-given talent to the maximum,
Well, I think you're already doing it, man. And I mean, for me, having known you for just a short
Thank
amount of
you.
time, I can already tell that you're probably making that impact in your immediate community already, man. So just keep it up,
I
bro.
hope.
And thank you for sharing that energy with us, man. Because like I said, man, my hope is that somebody listening says, "Damn, man, like what Dubious Thoughts just said really resonated with me," and now I feel like I could go conquer the world, and I
Yeah.
truly believe that it's going to happen. So thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for your vulnerability, man, and just for being willing to come on and just have this conversation with me.
Thank you, Mr. Ron. Likewise, man. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And yeah, everybody who's watching, make sure you follow everything Grown Man Sessions. Follow them on all social media platforms and everything. Because I tell you, man, this is what we need on a daily basis. I wish you could do a daily podcast. So we got to get you
Oh
enough guests so
man,
you can do that, man. Everybody share
I'm
this with
trying.
everybody. Get it out to people that you want to hear from them, whether it's other artists or whether entertainers or people that you saw on a TED talk, whatever. Share this with somebody that you want to hear them be vulnerable. Just send it to their DMs, man. Be like, hey, I really love this show. I'd love for you to be on there, man. Speak your truth. I want to know about you as a fan or whatever, right? So
Man,
support.
that'd be dope. Yeah. And where can everybody reach you at, bro?
You know me on all social media. Main thing is Instagram. I'm not really on Facebook at all. But I mean, I have a Facebook page. But yeah, Dubious_Thoughts on Instagram and on all music platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, you name it, them all, and everything. Amazon. So yeah, Dubious Thoughts. Other Side of Darkness got released December 6th. So make sure you download, share that. It listens like a book. So chapter to chapter, it progresses, and I feel like every song gets better than the last in their own right. They say, when you have multiple kids, right, you don't have a favorite, but like I got a couple of favorites. But if you're from Sacramento, make sure you check out my favorite song is City of Trees. I'll be doing a music video to that soon. So City of Trees is all
Yeah.
about Sac representing. It's gonna be a hit, man. I haven't done any real marketing for it per se right now, but you watch that, it's gonna blow up. It'll definitely be on the radio and it'll be blowing up here locally and hopefully nationwide. So check it out.
Well, I'll make sure to drop the link in the description below. So if you guys want to check it out, just hit the link and go give it a few listens, man, and share it with your friends and family. And yeah, man,
Appreciate that.
thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Dubious Thoughts, for coming on. I always end these interviews by saying that one person could change the world, but it's one person at a time, and that one person right now is you. So take care of yourself, take care of your friends and your family, and just tune in next time for more Grown Man Sessions. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, drop us a comment, and yeah, man, just keep supporting us because we're just trying to keep pushing this stuff out there. All right.
Sure.
Peace
Much
out.
love. Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Cheers.
Take it easy, bro.